130 years ago, Gemma Galgani, a humble saint, on New Year's Eve 1895 to 1896 resolved the following. Let me quote it from the article that I'll eventually send it to you. You can find this article in the description. So I resolved to change my life. So I resolved to change my life because Jesus had given me clear lights to the effect that I should be a religious. I had a good occasion to do this, for we were about to begin the year of 1896. I wrote in a little I wrote in a little notebook, quote, during this new year, I resolved to begin a new life. I do not know what will happen to me during this year, but I abandon myself entirely to you, my God, and my aspirations and all my affections will be for you. I feel so weak, dear Jesus, but with your help, I hope and resolve to live a different life, that is, a life closer to you. In other words, say this resolution is a complete uncertainty, uncertainty that not knowing what will happen this new year, but it abandons itself. It says that eventually, though I don't know what's going to happen in this year, I'm going to abandon myself entirely to God this year. And this is one of the resolutions you can make. Some of other Gemma's resolutions are taken from this article. Right into a spiritual director, Gemma writes, quote, Father, do you know the latest idea that has come into my head? It is to become a saint at all costs. I made this resolution yesterday evening. During my meditation, I was thinking that one lives only once, and it is certain that one is going to die. Then one will have to answer to God. In this one life we live, Saint Gemma says that my resolution is going to be to become a saint at all costs. And again, she writes to a spiritual director. Yesterday, at the end of my meditation, I was making as usual my resolutions to love Jesus with all my heart. And then my angel appeared and said, quote, the angel, well then, we shall soon see whether you will prove your resolutions. I told this to my confessor, but even he does not know to what the angel referred. Please tell me if you know. Quote from Saint Gemma Galgani these words. And she took another resolution. Oh my Jesus, mercy! I recommend you to please read this article that I'm going to send you in the description. Summarizing from all our resolutions, so one is an abandonment entirely to God. This this year, every year, I'm going to abandon myself completely to God. Something like that. You can understand like that. The second resolution is to become a saint at all costs. The third resolution is to love Jesus with all my heart. And the fourth resolution is to say a prayer, oh my Jesus, mercy. New Year is not about is not celebrating parties, and New Year is not about celebrating greatness. It isn't even about resolutions in terms of physical sense only. Now, I don't discourage anybody here to stop pursuing resolutions related to, like, I will lose my weight, I will take a good job this year, I will help everybody. Like, those resolutions aren't bad in themselves, but what I urge you is to take spiritual resolutions that may impact your life. Little did Saint Gemma Galgani know that these resolutions by following, and eventually who could have imagined, as the article writes, that she would not only become a saint in heaven but also a saint, a canonized saint in the 20th century. I urge you, my dear friends, that take resolutions but do not take more every year, just because we have tradition that we have to take resolutions every new year. I urge you at the same time to not be on the danger to take more and more, not because more is dangerous, but because more can exhaust or extinguish. What I mean is, for suppose, let's say this year you took 5 resolutions, next year you're going to take 10 resolutions, next year you're going to take that year you're going to take again 5 resolutions. In a busy life, I don't know if you can really follow this. My suggestion is to take is at least from this year onwards, take some resolutions and fewer resolutions, and come to a certain year, at a certain point we're going to stop taking resolutions and stick to the previous ones. If you can find something new, and if you feel you can follow it, if you have the heart, if you think God is calling, if your heart is ignited with a desire to do this, then go ahead and take that also. But nevertheless, this is what I want to say. What I've said. Message from the following example of Saint Gemma Galgani is to pursue pursue spiritual life and pursue God and to love Jesus with all our heart. The greatest tragedy in life is not to become a saint, not not to have no. Let us rather have a bad, horrible death than not become a saint. Horrible death means it's okay that if a person dies in an accident, it then he becoming not a saint. My dear friends, I urge you, each of us, to think of what are we doing, because we as Christians have eternal life after death. We have a hope. We live after we die. Though we live, we die. We die, we live. If you didn't understand again, I'm going to repeat this to you. Though we live, we die daily for Him. That's what how if we do like this only, then when we die, we can live for Him. For those who do not for those who do not die daily, cannot expect to live daily after they die truly. Now here is where I have took some personal resolutions, my 7 resolutions for this year to follow for my life. One is true devotion to cultivate on the Holy Blessed Mother. Second, and true devotion to cultivate to Holy Joseph. And the third one, true devotion to the three archangels Gabriel, Michael, Raphael. And fourth one, to invoke Mary, Jesus, Joseph names. The fifth one, to cultivate humility, charity, and obedience. Sixth one is to practice the whole detachment, and the seventh one is to do mental prayer. These all may seem tough, but I recommend you to repeat your resolutions in case you may forget them daily. So I don't know what's gonna happen this year. Like I hope, but I know one thing, that all things will. I trust that all things will go good for those who love God. So this is all I have got to say. Last year I have preached you by this time to burn with seraphic love, and now this year I preach to you. I urge you to resolve yourself to make yourself a saint at all costs, to take some spiritual resolutions, and like here are some. These are some of my ideas. The 7 of them, and the Saint Gemma's ideas. You can take personally whatever you feel like it's okay for you in terms of spiritual. But above all, the end goal is to love God purely out of pure love, not expecting anything like, okay, I'm loving Him because He gives me or not loving Him because He'll give me something, but it's out of a pure love. A pure love should cultivate in us, which only God can do in us. And to love God purely is also something which someone true devotion to the Blessed Mother can have a help on, and that to do true devotion means a pure love for Blessed Mother. I mean, loving pure Blessed Mother not for the sake of favors, but loving her because she is deserving to be loved. For for loving devotion for loving the Blessed Mother, I recommend you to read the classics, True Devotion to the Blessed Mary. So happy New Year, my friends. Happy New Year.